Don't miss the tea. Subscribe now.
Oh my God, girl, pour me another glass. Seriously, fill it to the brim. You are not going to believe the weekend I just had. I mean, you will believe it because you know them, but I feel like I'm going to physically explode if I don't say this out loud. So I went home for Sunday dinner, right? Standard procedure. And Mrs. Miller, you know, the neighbor with the hydrangeas, she was over there dropping something off. My mom immediately goes into her act. She grabs my arm, does that little squeeze that's supposed to be affectionate but actually feels like a blood pressure cuff, and she says to Mrs. Miller, "Oh, we're just so lucky with this one. She was always the easy one. Never gave us a single gray hair." The easy one. I stood there, smiling that plastered on, dead-eyed smile I've perfected over 29 years, and I swear to God, inside my head I was screaming. I wanted to flip the table. I wanted to shatter the vase. But of course I didn't. I just stood there and accepted the praise like the good little trophy I am. And that's the tea, isn't it? That's the whole sick joke of my life. I am the success story. Look at me. I'm 29, I have the shiny degree, the nice corporate job with benefits, I pay my bills on auto pay. I don't get arrested, I don't post messy breakdowns on Instagram at 3 a.m. I show up. I am the good daughter. But listening to them brag about how easy I was, it made me want to vomit. They tell these stories at parties, laughing about how low maintenance I was. Oh, she never threw tantrums, she just sat there quietly coloring. She was an old soul. Girl, I wasn't an old soul. I was terrified. My parents brag that I was an old soul and easy to raise. But I wasn't easy because I was naturally zen. I was easy because I learned before I could even read that being quiet, being helpful, and being agreeable was the only way to keep the temperature in that house from spiking into the red zone. I was doing damage control before I knew how to do long division. You remember my dad back then. When he came home stressed, the air in the house would change. It got heavy. And I learned that if Dad was stressed, my survival strategy was to become invisible. Literally, I would dissolve into the furniture. I'd make myself so small I practically ceased to exist. And if Mom was upset, if she was crying or manic or overwhelmed, I wasn't her child. I was her tiny, unlicensed therapist. I was 8 years old rubbing her back, telling her it was going to be okay, listening to problems that were way above my pay grade. I was the diplomat of the household. I smoothed over the fights. I was the one rewriting text messages for them so they didn't sound disrespectful to each other. I remember being 10 years old and feeling the physical weight of the room on my shoulders, thinking, if I am perfect, if I am helpful, if I get straight A's and clean the kitchen without being asked, maybe they won't yell tonight. Maybe everyone will be okay. I got praised for being so mature for my age, but being mature for your age just means you were robbed of your childhood. And what they don't tell you is that you pay for that stolen time for the rest of your life. And now, look at me. I'm an adult woman, supposedly successful, and I am a mess. I am stuck with this sick, twisted reflex where my chest physically tightens, like I can't breathe. If I even think someone might be disappointed in me. If my boss sends me an email that just says, "See me," I spiral. I'm planning my homeless life under a bridge within 3 seconds. I jump when my phone rings. My nervous system is so fried that a phone call feels like a bomb threat. I apologize to inanimate objects, babe. I bumped into a chair at Starbucks yesterday and said, "Oops, sorry." To the wood, I can't rest. I literally cannot sit on my couch and watch Netflix without feeling guilty. It's like my brain thinks relaxing is dangerous. And here is the dark part. This is the part that makes me feel like an absolute monster. I hate them for it. I look at my parents and I feel this hot, thick rage in my stomach. I hate the way they brag about me like they built me, like I'm a trophy they earned through good parenting. "We raised her right," my dad says. No, you didn't. You didn't raise me. You trained me. You trained me like a dog to be low maintenance so you could forget that I had needs. You trained me to make your lives easier at the expense of my own existence. And now you're taking a victory lap for it. But then, God, this is the worst part. The second I feel that anger, the guilt comes crashing down. Because they weren't bad parents on paper. So I sit there feeling this rage, and immediately my brain goes, "You ungrateful little brat, they did their best." It's this double punch. The anger and then the shame for feeling the anger. It makes me feel crazy, like I'm gaslighting myself. I'm just so tired of being the sponge. When I visited yesterday, my mom started venting immediately. Didn't even ask how I was, and I felt it happen. My soul left my body, and my body just went into autopilot. Oh, wow, Mom, that's so hard. I'm nodding, I'm validating, I'm being the good daughter. But inside, I'm dead. I left the house, got into my car, and I just sat there in the driveway shaking. Just shaking. I wasn't crying, I was just vibrating with this pent-up energy that I couldn't release. And then on the way home, I stopped at the grocery store to get wine, obviously, and I saw this little girl. She must have been maybe 6. She was in the cereal aisle and she was being loud. Not screaming, just happy loud, singing, skipping, taking up space. And my first thought, my instinctive thought was, oh God, she's gonna get in trouble. She needs to be quiet, danger. And then I caught myself. I looked at her mom, and her mom just laughed and picked up the box. The kid wasn't in trouble. I almost started crying right there next to the frosted flakes, because I realized that normal kids are allowed to be loud. Normal kids are allowed to be messy. I don't know how to stop grieving a childhood that I technically had on paper but never actually got to live. I'm mourning the little girl who never got to be loud. I'm not going to cut them off. I'm too trained for that. I'm too much of the good daughter to ever break their hearts like that, but I just needed to say it. Being the good one didn't make me better. It made me hollow. It made me a shell that performs humanity rather than feeling it. So, yeah, cheers to being the success story. God, I wish I had been difficult. Maybe then I'd actually be a real person.